yeah, it's always had a great history of independence because it's separate from the state system. So that's something that AA has been very proud of, and that has created a unique kind of student, typically from the AA, one free thinking, and it's given the kind of innovation to the AA that many other schools have not achieved.
Can we just briefly introduce the famous stars from here? I was wondering the DNA of the AA, how does it affect their further development in their practice?
Yeah, the AA has always been producing some of the best architects in the UK, and it's been famous for producing figures such as Richard Rogers, David Chipperfield, of course Zaha Hadid, who else? Rem Koolhaas famously, and it's launched, particularly from the 70s and 80s, it launched the careers of many of the kind of leading figures in the architectural world at present, really. And there's a particular period of 20 years, 1970 onwards, where it seemed to be a kind of hothouse generating this talent, and it was all orchestrated by a kind of remarkable chairman, kind of method that they were using in the AA at the time. But just a few years later than that, modernism comes into the school and absolutely everything changes. And it's really interesting because the students bring the modernism into the school, not the staff, and it's the earliest school by about 30 years in the UK to bring in modernism. So it is a very significant period in the UK architectural history, as well as the AA's own one. Got some more recent work. There's a very nice set of models here made by a recent or a contemporary media studies student here. The idea being that they're a box of cakes, nicely packaged like this, and the title is "You Are What You Eat," and each one of these is a little book, and you can read each book, and it's all about consuming and the object, and how you become what you eat, or rather you eat what you become, or vice versa. So that's a very nice, kind of very small scale example to a much larger scale from about 3 or 4 years ago. This is about a fifth of the original model size, and the idea was for the student to explore the difference between kind of virtual reality, virtual architecture, and real architecture. And he came up with a big story that there's an island off South America that had discovered a new mineral. And he made this model and then made countless email accounts and then persuaded Google Earth that this place actually existed. So this place actually existed on Google Earth for about a year. You could zoom in and you could see video footage that he made using the model, photographs that he'd taken. He even faked up a TV documentary to make this evidence. So that's really an outstanding example of a student. Which is our storage area,
okay.
And we've got some fairly recent DRL material from maybe 10 years back. Some really large-scale models they've done using plaster and also using various forms of nylon. The initial shapes are generated mostly digitally, but then they're experimenting with different materials. It's a very kind of innovative approach. And then in complete contrast, just literally 3 or 4 feet away, we've got one of the original drawings for the House of Parliament. It's a pencil drawing from the office of Charles Barry, who was one of the architects of the House of Parliament. And this dates to must be the early 1840s. It's obviously one of the most valuable items within the archive. And it's just a nice contrast, this beautiful fine pencil drawing to the digital produced material that the school is currently producing with DRL today, being decommissioned at the time.
Okay,
Yeah.
On experimentation based on new computational processes, so digital design, and now also a lot focusing on digital fabrication, on robotics, on forms of self-organization within cities. We're working on all scales, on the urban scale, all the way to interior and furniture scale. So what you see here in the background is three-dimensional experimentation in form making based on digital design processes and fabrication processes.
What about the relationship between DRL and residency? This is a post-master's degree.
So the Design Research Laboratory was the first post-professional master degree design studio which runs for 18 months with students from all over the world who come back to school after having completed their professional degree, went out to work and then come back for another extensive study with many students from Asia as well, particularly from China, who have been at this particular design research laboratory with a background.
Hello. Hi. 抬起头来，头对吗？嘿，嘿。怎么可以这么漂亮？鸽子从身边飘过，小哥哥，他以为我有吃的。哎，我应该有吃的。等一下，我找一下书包。蛋糕他们吃吗？不行，不能随便喂他们。其实他们吃的东西跟我们吃的东西不一样。对他们有专门的人喂的，其实不应该随便喂动物，它的胃会受不了。Hello。它天天都会有人喂它吃东西，要不然它找不到吃的。鸭子也来了，一只母的，一只公的，好漂亮啊！那只是什么？那只是公天鹅。边做呗。它这个油画布不好，它这个油画布特别次。一般来说，这张课他们用的油画布不会这样子。